allegiance, and then I'm going to ask our new commissioner, Doug Bauman, to start with prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's bow our heads in an attitude of prayer. God, grant us, the commissioners, the serenity to accept things that we cannot control, the courage to change things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Doug. All right, the first thing on the agenda, we're going to look at the minutes from December 17th. So, Steve, were you here for that meeting? Or?
I was not. I've looked at the video. I would feel comfortable signing the minutes, but
Okay.
somebody has to sign them. I'm good with it.
So, since he wasn't here,
I'll make a motion to approve.
No, you can approve.
okay, very good. And I'll second that to approve the minutes from December 17th, 2024. So, okay, we'd like to once again thank Steve Kuhn for his service for the last 4 years and wish him well. We'd also like to welcome our commissioner, Doug Bauman, and I'd like to say he's a new commissioner, but he's not. He kind of is. So, very familiar with the job, very familiar with the people, and we're glad to have him back. So thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
we'll look forward to working together on all the things that we've got in front of us. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So with that, we'll start with the reorganization of the board. And I will open the nominations for chairman.
I nominate Steve Bailey for chairman.
Got a motion? Is there a second? You accept the nomination?
I would, yeah. I'd be okay. I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay,
A motion second,
I'll vote in favor of that also.
passed. All right. Vice Chairman?
Nominate Stan Stoppenhagen.
Second.
Okay, Favor?
Vote in favor.
All right. Good.
All right.
Okay, I guess, if I have to.
Congratulations, Steve. Yep.
Oh, here's the minutes, by the way, then.
I have to say, I've definitely enjoyed serving as chairman, and I know that Steve will do an excellent job.
Well, obviously surrounded by these two guys. I'm the rookie of the group, and appreciate the opportunity to be chairman, and look forward to these guys keeping me out of trouble.
So Doug, if he makes any mistakes, should we tell him?
I would hope that you would. Okay. Okay, Doug, slide that agenda down here. We'll share it between us over here on this side. Okay. Tony, what have you got for us today? Sign these minutes.
Yeah, sign the minutes and those down. I've got quite a few things. I had to reboot my computer, so I'm waiting for it to come up and find the minutes. But I've got a stack of stuff here, so. It'll be out of sequence. I'll just go down and do it as I have them, if that's okay.
Mhm.
Tony's gonna have to rewrite his template over there.
Yes, I am.
At least he'll know which Steve votes on it.
Yeah, we don't have the Steve issue anymore.
Good thing I've got a brand new calculator now.
Brand new. Ed used that
I
one.
guess I'll be ready when you're ready.
I think they gave that one to Ed Coyle on it.
Ed used it, but he didn't need it.
I have one sheet of that paper.
You sure can.
I can pay you for it sometime.
Yeah. Put it on your tab. Take it.
Okay, we'll do that. Are you ready for me?
I am. Right ahead.
Okay. Obviously, we're gonna have more things than normal, but that's okay. And I'm gonna take them as I have them piled up here. The first thing we have is an animal control report that we received from Chad Sprunger. And the press got a copy of that. I put a copy of that in front of all of you prior to the meeting.
You guys have any questions on that? Take them.
I'd make a motion to enter that into record.
Motion by Stan. Yeah, take a minute.
Yeah,
I know these are all probably new formats to you, Doug, so
Yeah.
take your time.
yeah, I'm looking, just a question, now does Chad give his, Chad Sprunger still, pick up dogs and deliver them out? Is his report,
That's his report right there. That's
That
what
one
he
right
gives
there,
us.
this is Chad's?
Yeah.
Okay,
The other
This is
one
from
you
the
have is
high
animal
schools.
shelter.
this
Yeah.
is from you, okay,
And
can
we'll
I
do
have
that
just a
one
second,
next.
Steve, here?
So, yep, so we're looking
Yeah.
at Chad, we're looking at Chad's
Chad's
report
first.
right now. So
Okay,
let's
you're looking
start
at
with that
Chad's
one.
report right
Yep.
now? Okay, I see no problem with that. Stan, you made a motion already?
I made.
I'll second Stan's motion.
Motion been made and seconded. That'll pass.
Okay,
And then we'll go next, Doug, to the animal shelter report
Okay.
submitted by Mike and Cindy Heiser.
And that one's a little tougher to read. We've talked about reformatting that.
And I think she did try to reformat it. but
Yeah,
it's not.
it's, there's kind of a recap at the bottom that shows how many animals are left in the shelter is kind of what we've always
Yeah, right
focused
down
on.
here at the bottom left.
cats adopted, cats claimed, cats transferred. cats
And the
got-
press, you got a copy of that as well.
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, 3, okay. Okay. Now, just to catch me up a bit, if someone comes into the animal shelter to adopt a cat or dog, is there a charge that is charged to the, person that's coming in?
Yes, we have a policy, I guess, that Mark Clayton, Stan and myself sat in on with Mike and Cindy and kind of reworked that. We pay for euthanizations, the county does. They get a monthly payment to them. But part of the way they get their money is if people adopt them out.
See, Doug, one of the reasons for that change was when the state decided that an animal cannot be adopted out unless it's spayed or neutered. And that made an extra charge before animals were adopted out. So we kind of had to reorganize. And then when Charlie Bowers retired, then that all became.
What about vaccination? If
If it protects all the animals in the shelter, if it protects all of them, the county pays for that protection, for that vaccine or protection.
I don't see anything. I'm looking at the bottom, Steve, where it was adopted, claimed and all that.
We could get you a copy of the current contract, that way you can
Yeah.
review that.
Okay.
That might be the thing to do.
I can do that when I get back upstairs. Unless Clayton can pull it up. Well, I'll get it for you.
I don't see any problem with the report.
Okay.
I move
Got a
that we
motion to accept?
accept the animal shelter report as submitted.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion passes.
Yeah. The next thing I have, every year at the end of the year, we have to provide to the newspapers and so forth, advertising a legal notice for every employee and their pay. So this legal notice has to be approved by the commissioners. And there's a place here for your signatures and for me to attest it. The list of employees and wages that we are required to do every year, we also have to enter that into Gateway. So that's what this is. Whoops, and I'll send that down. Wait a minute. And after approval, we'll send all this to the publications and probably ZBD or whoever it is that we send it to.
How many employees are there, Tony? Roughly
He's got the thing. It just left my hand.
250.
Yeah, I don't see. a
Well,
number
it's
on here,
anybody
honestly.
that would have been
Oh.
employed, even if it's election people that just
Oh,
work one
just
day.
one day.
It's all of them.
Oh, okay, I forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to go through it name by name?
Oh,
Okay, good.
that's a good number.
I was looking for a number that actually doesn't give it, so.
Oh, okay.
And I have that upstairs somewhere if you really.
Yeah, you probably get it.
It's a little off kilter this time because of the election. We had so many people doing that.
30 or 40 years.
Once you guys are comfortable in the motion,
I move that we accept the published report for employee wages as submitted by Tony.
I'll second that.
okay, motion's made and seconded and carries.
Okay. And Stan, if you want to just set those up on the ledge, I'll get them after they're all signed. And
Oh, yeah, we didn't, we'll have to sign.
You can just set them up there and I'll get them at the end.
You need to sign it.
Yeah.
I assume you're signing them as they go or?
Yeah, I should
Yeah,
sign
you
that.
should
I've
sign
got,
as you
I'm
go,
used to
not
signing at the
I
end.
signed it on.
Okay, okay, we're good then.
We'll do better, Tony.
I'll get anything else that goes down there that I need. Stan, just keep up on the ledge for me or something and I'll grab it after I do my report and stuff. Okay, and some of these things, we're gonna have a couple or three of them, since it was 17th that we met last, so you'll hear me say,
Mhm.
you know, a little different than normal. I have an accounts payable claims, and you should have gotten that in your emails. And this one was in the amount of $534,978.25. We'll do the other one when I get to it. $534,978.25.
Any questions on any of those, guys?
I looked through that. I didn't see anything on there that I would question.
Likewise. So I'll make a motion that we accept accounts payable,
Not sure why we get.
534,978.25.
All righty.
Motion been made. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Motion passes.
Okay, here is one of the Allied weekly health insurance claims. These particular claims are in the amount of $23,106.74. That is all medical. And Doug, well, within the past 4 years, State Board of Accounts has audited us and they wanted the auditor to verify the claimants, which I do, and I sign that I verified that it is our people that are,
Basically.
but obviously it's medical information that can't be made public, but I verified it. So this one is all medical, 23,106.74.
Make a motion to approve that claim as presented.
Second.
Motion
It's
carries.
already stamped that in Stan. Should be-
Okay.
Is that okay?
I'll just sign below it if that's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Like you say, it's hard to get out of old habits, I guess.
Not a problem. Okay, so
That
I
was
have to
prior
sign
to
that. Just look
That was
at it.
prior to the
We don't
meeting, I
need to sign
guess.
this.
Did they mention that already? They did,
Yeah.
didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, next we have payroll claims. Those payroll claims are in the amount of $377,084.25. 377,084.25 payroll claims.
So moved.
Second. That's the last payroll for 2024.
I think that was for the 12/20 payroll.
So we're 2 weeks.
We're processing another one as we speak. Yeah, we've got another one in progress, so you'll get that next week.
Oh, that's right, 'cause we missed a meeting.
Yeah. Okay, so. that was good.
Payroll done.
We have another weekly.
No, wait, we didn't, do we vote on payroll?
I did.
Okay.
I moved Stan
Good.
second.
Got it.
Another Allied Weekly Health Insurance claim. And this one would have actually probably been in December still, but 27,334.81. 27,334.81. And that also, nope, that's all prescription. That is all prescription.
I'd make a motion to approve that claim as presented.
Second.
Motion carries.
Okay. And we have another accounts payable claims. These are for the 26th. Should have also received that in the email. And that is $803,070.63. It's like lit economic development was a big one in there.
803 what, Tony?
803,070.63.
Is that for the January 3rd?
That was for 12/26.
Accounts payable, right?
Yeah.
I move that we accept the accounts payable Tony has presented for $803.70.63.
Okay, I'll second that. I don't pull up the one.
Yeah. Okay. Motion passes.
Okay. You should also have received via email the payroll time card approval for appointed department heads. That is something else that State Board of Accounts told us we needed to do, Doug.
Okay,
Payroll time card approval.
I didn't get a chance to look at those. And then, Doug, maybe you didn't know what you're looking for, but we'll see those every
Yeah.
2 weeks and we just get the,
and,
Time cards
okay,
for
and
the-
exactly what, give me a brief synopsis of what county employees are required to do time.
It would be appointment or appointed department heads. The names are in here.
those are the ones we're gonna see, but I think everybody
Yeah.
does time card now.
Everybody does time.
Everybody
card.
logs into the
Okay,
time. There's a new
employee
automated
time
system
cards are taken care of through their
there.
department head office?
Yeah.
Okay,
But we do the ones that.
These are the ones that you all,
Like we'll do Shannon, Mike Brown,
Mark Wynn,
Mark Lynn.
some of those, probably Brad Weber.
and, the people that we're talking about, they are responsible for punching in and punching out on their own time card. Is that correct?
Well, they're responsible for accounting for their time.
Yeah.
So how do we know that someone's not punching in for someone else?
Shannon, can you help me explain that?
So the program that we use is called Attendance on Demand, and it is locked to an IP address. And then each employee has their own ID and badge number that they punch in and punch out with on their computer, which is specific personal information to them. So unless they share that information, we assume that they're not sharing it and they don't punch in or punch out for anybody else.
Yeah, like you said, we assume.
And these time card things,
I mean, there's no foolproof way. We just assume that people are honest.
well, we're expecting the department heads to do it right.
Well, I'm not talking about department heads. I'm talking about the appointed people.
Oh, these,
Yes.
yes.
Well, I think like one of the things I look at, you've got a typical appointed official that would work 40 to 50 hours a week. So you look at their time and see what their clock in time, their clock out time, and look at the total amount of hours. You look for aberrancies as far as how they're using their PTO time. And that's what I kind of look for is aberrancies on the time card that just doesn't make sense to what we're asking them to do.
I think on those, it would give
Here's
you
what we see.
PTO time, hours worked, overtime, all that stuff.
So, but
Should be on.
there's two things that go into effect. One is the specific information for every employee. And like she said, you know, if somebody wants to share that, they can share that. But, you know, otherwise is the trust that the individual's not gonna share that, and they're not gonna like it, but the other thing is, as we look at the timesheet, and if it makes sense, and there's nothing, really out of line.
Well, I think it's very important that we as commissioners look at this very carefully.
But it's as close to the best system as we could have, I think. Because once we went to the electronic time cards, then everybody was required to fill out a timesheet. And so that kind of created.
And that came about because state board said that the commissioners had to see the accounting of time for those that are outside the norm, like boys and stuff. I don't think we got a motion.
Need a motion to accept that in those time cards into the record, approve those time cards, I guess.
No, I'm good. I think we did. We signed it.
Okay,
Yeah.
just need a motion for the
Okay,
record.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Okay,
Approved.
so rules. We have now, and this is something else that'll be new to Doug, that state board recommended we do. And this is the payroll AP claims. And what this is are all the benefits that are paid out to, you have the payroll claims. These are the benefits that go along with the payroll claims.
Withholding taxes.
All that stuff.
All perf, all that stuff.
Okay.
that's
State board.
Payroll
wanted the
related, but
commissioners-
not
yeah.
paid to employees.
So they wanted the commissioners to see and approve this officially as well. And the amount of the payroll AP claims is $336,627.46. 336,627.46.
For a period of
That would be for that payroll
Same
period.
2-week period that you
2-week
just signed.
period.
Payroll.
And you can probably look through there and make some sense of it as you look through those pages, Doug.
Well, you're right though, Doug. That's a surprising number to pay out for benefits.
And that's one of the reasons that we are able to get employees to come to the county and work for us, because they're certainly not overpaid. So I appreciate the fringe benefits that we provide our employees.
And this is a way to show that every time you guys approve it. So
And when I get an employee, or I used to get an employee that was kind of complaining about wages, everyone wants an increase, I always reminded them of take a look at your fringe benefits, vacation days, et cetera, et cetera. And that's good, because we need incentives for good people to come to work for us.
Well, but one of the things that we changed over the last few years was going from sick time and vacation time to a PTO time, which allows the employees to have more freedom. And then they're able to bank those hours.
We didn't make a motion on that, didn't we, Steve?
We have not yet.
I move that we accept the amount of, what should I say, fringe benefits
Yeah,
paid to
Payroll,
employees
accounts payables, we
accounts
refer
payable
to it.
claims, yeah.
for the last pay period.
I'll second that.
So that number pretty well stays consistent from pay period to pay period?
I'm not sure, the next pay that we have that could go up because the new wages for 2025 will be on the next pay. So those,
Okay.
both of those should be a little higher. Oh, and I wanted to mention to you all as well, I put in front of all of you, and I think I might have emailed them to you, but this doesn't have to be done today. You can take this, think about it. The list of the board and subcommittees that everybody's
I
on,
think we do want to do this today.
okay? And I would just need to know who's moving where. And
What did you have? You didn't need the payroll forms signed, right? The one you just laid back there? Like that. That one's signed.
No, this one's actually the
Okay.
end of year payroll. I think I handed you the AP.
Yeah, we did. Stan got it.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all
we're
signed.
good. Thank you.
I'll have one more thing after
Okay.
you all tell me.
Be responsible, Chairman.
So who's changing what to where?
They all have a copy of that.
Yeah.
We do, yeah. I think the only changes we
Through Stan.
yeah,
Helpful.
Stan, you're okay with everything that you're that you had handled last year, except
Well-
we're talking about moving the health board.
I'm gonna relinquish my spot on the health board to Doug. He was
Okay.
very interested in.
Okay, so you guys have, so we're gonna move health board from Stan's list to Doug's list.
I mean, I hate to
Okay.
give up at 8 o'clock in the morning meeting, but
Okay, okay. So that would leave Stan with Extension Board, Emergency Management Agency, Chamber of Commerce Industrial Division. We'll take the Health Board down to Doug, Highway, and then several of these were all three on Solid Waste, Maumee River Basin Commission, Upper Wabash River Basin Commission. You'll remain Council on Aging Representative. We're all on Mayors and Commissioners Caucus. You'll stay with Wage Appeal Committee, stay on the IT Committee, and Community Corrections JRAC
correct.
Committee. Okay.
Yep.
Drainage board, no, though?
He's not, has not been on the Drainage
He's
Board,
not been
so
on-
he'll be off
so
the
I'll take
Drainage
that one
Board.
off. Okay.
Right.
Another one I hated to give up, but I did.
Yeah.
So then Doug, you'll fall in on Steve's assignments for the jail, Bi-County Services, Plan Commission. You're okay with Plan Commission? Highway, and then Solid Waste, Maumee River Basin Commission, Upper Wabash River Basin Commission, Public Records Commission.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Meet
Hold-
once a year.
Public Defender Board.
Right.
Yeah, with the rest of us on Mayors and Commissioners Caucus. You'll take then Steve Coon's position on Drainage Board. You okay with that?
Yes.
And we'll move Health down to
Doug.
Doug. Okay, and then I'll stay with Economic Development, Hospital Board, Parks and Rec, Adams County Child Protection Team. We won't have a Golden Meadows anymore, so we'll take that off of my list. Highway, and then we're all on Solid Waste, the two River Basin Commissions, Mayors and Commissioners, and I'll stay on Drainage Board. If you guys are okay with that,
Can I make a quick statement
Sure.
on Golden Meadows? You know, that was a very difficult transition on that facility and the closure of that facility. And I think it was handled, Steve, you put a lot of time in out there to help not only us with the books for that facility, but individuals with their individual accounts with that facility. So I really appreciate that professional input to help those people transition.
yeah, I'm proud of the way we did that. That could have been a real negative, and it was a difficult decision for us to come to, but I'm proud of the way we approached that.
And you worked with Shannon in the hospital also, so thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Just to tack on to that, Stan, we as commissioners are still going to have to deal with the facility
Sure.
one way or the other, you know, and I
We
know
do.
that the sheriff has approached the BZA board for a change of,
Use or something.
Change
I don't
of
know.
use.
Yeah.
and so that, I think that vote's coming up again in January with the one BZA member that wasn't there, but whatever this comes out, either way, we still have the property. What is it, probably approximately 5 acres left?
11,
11? Wow, more than I
a
thought.
little bit over 11, yeah.
And that's not gonna be,
Yeah.
not gonna be an easy one either, taking care of that facility one way or the other.
Good. Good deal. Okay, so we just do we need a motion to approve those subcommittee assignments?
Yeah, I would, and that way, as long as Tony's got it straight, that way he can get them in the minutes.
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
make
not
a
trying to type
motion
it all in
to-
right now, but I'll do it
Yeah,
later.
accept those appointments as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay.
And
That motion passes?
And then you can just show those in the minutes, that way you can
Yep.
refer back to and always
Yep.
know who's on what.
And Tony, for your records, and I know Eric always asks this, my preference would be that I'll always vote with the majority unless you hear different from me. So
Okay. So it'll be,
I like to
it'll be a
vote.
three-person
I
vote.
like to have my vote recorded.
Three-person vote,
Yep.
but you'll only know it's a no if it
You'll
says
only
no.
know if it's a no if I say so.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so we got the subcommittees and boards out of the way. I believe, and I'm really cutting into the highway and engineers time. I apologize, guys.
We haven't done appointments.
So that's you, Eric, is our media chairman.
This is Allied Health Insurance claim. every year, somebody in the auditor's office has to make themselves available by December 30th to push through this payment at the end of the year. It's called renewal funding. And it helps to get that in so that they can negotiate our stop loss. So we did this, I believe it came in the 27th or something. Anyway, this had to be done by the end of the year. Mark probably knows what I'm referring to.
Stop loss.
It's for stop loss, so they can negotiate the payments or the cost. And the amount of this claim is $113,014.70. 113,014.70.
So what time period does that cover then, Tony?
I think it just cleans up the whole year.
So it's kind of the final year-end wrap-up.
Yeah.
So that they have the full claim picture for the calendar year.
To be able to negotiate our next stop loss
Okay.
renewal cost. Yep. Anyway, that was 113,014.70.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve that claim that's presented.
I'll second it.
And here this is.
Okay,
If you want to
that
sign
passes.
underneath, Stan. And believe it or not, I think that's all I have because Mark has the other two things that I had that he's going to do. And Treasurer Dyer is going to do his report and so forth, so we're good.
Nate brings up a good point. We want to go ahead and reappoint.
Mark has all of those.
Mark has all that. Good deal. I'll wait patiently.
Yeah, in fact, I can hand these, here, there's 3 of these. One for you, Tony. This is the list.
Because I'll also have to put all these in minutes.
Thank you.
First page is the 1-year appointments, and the second page is the multi-year appointments. I've got all those. We can do as many or as few as you want to do.
So is it your pleasure, guys, that we handle the full-time individuals today, and then those that are
Yeah.
part-time, we'll try and reach out to them and make sure they're willing to accept the reappointment, and
You want to do them one at a time or however you want to do it?
I'm easy.
I think you hit it on the head with your remark. Let's do the, there's a lot of names for someone to call up and say, hey, are you willing to accept the appointment if made? So I think we got to give whoever does that some time to do that.
Normally Angie contacts them. She may have, I'm not
Okay,
completely sure.
well, I
if
think
she
we
has
better
or
go
not.
with the years and Steve.
Okay. So you guys just want to start with Jackie, and I know Jackie's going to be retiring, but at least as of today,
Well, at this point in time, she's here.
yeah,
So do you want a motion on each one individually?
I'm
I think you could probably go down and just read the name and then, and unless you want to consider that at some other time, I'll put a check mark here and then you can do a motion on all the ones that you're going to take action on.
All right.
Yeah, everyone you want to say yes to, I'll put a check mark out by, and we'll know which ones you still have to do.
I can go down the list if that's okay with you guys. Jackie Searles, Drainage Board, Nate Rumschlag, Highway Engineer, Brad Yoder, Highway Superintendent, Paul Zerby, Assistant Superintendent, Highway Superintendent, Mark Burry, Adams County, and our Drainage Board Attorney, Mark Wynn, Building Inspector, Mike Whirling, Plat Book Technician.
Hey, Tyler is no longer here. I don't know.
Right.
What's that new name, Shannon,
For
Soil and Water.
First name's Chauncey, Chauncy. Last name is Cook, but she goes by Kyla.
Okay.
CHANCY.
CHAUNCY. Uncy.
Chauncey Cook.
Chauncey. Last name's Cook.
So Chauncey Cook as Soil and Water Director, Mike Brown, Information Technology Director, Jessica Bergdahl, nope, we don't appoint Jessica. Barb Lehrman, EMA Director and Advisory Board, Dan Hackman for Weights and Measures, Rick Burkhalter, Buildings and Grounds, Shannon Green, ADA Compliance Officer. And I think that may be at the bottom of our list, unless you guys see something else on there we need to do.
And I don't know if it enters into it, but Mike Whirling is appointed as plat book technician, but that is also part of the surveyor's.
We've added that as an additional duty, similar to what we did with Shannon and the ADA Director. Do you agree with that? Similar
Yeah, so
situation?
I assume we still make it an official appointment.
I guess. No.
Yeah, let's hold off.
Do
on
we,
that
do
one.
we add that to their job description so we wouldn't have to do?
Yeah, I don't know
that?
that you need to make that as an appointment.
Okay, so let's pull Mike from the plat book technician, and then should we also pull Shannon from the ADA compliance officer? I think we did add that. Did we add that to your job description, or is that a
We have separate ones.
separate job
So we have a
description?
whole job
Okay.
description for
But
each.
I bet we have to apply. I know you have to sign some documents as that officer.
I think that we go ahead and do the ADA compliance because
Okay.
it shows that she's actually appointed as
Right.
an officer, but it's, you know, it's
And I think
included
that-
in her
I think
job
that
description.
book, you're right as well. We did add that into the surveyor
Job description. Okay. So we would leave Shannon and pull Mike
Yeah,
from that
so-
list.
Leave Shannon on ADA and take
Yes,
Mike
and
off.
take Mike Whirling off. If you guys, are you guys okay with that? Don't let me.
Did you say this one?
I did not. I'll leave that off.
Okay.
that day.
Okay.
And then you said Mike Brown
Yes,
and Trey Likes.
I did not say Trey likes.
Did not say Trey Likes, okay.
I lost track.
I think we got someone there we just want to discuss a little further yet.
Sure.
Oh,
Okay, I move that we make the appointments of those that you mentioned, Steve.
okay.
I did have one question on Mike, and this might be for Mark,
Mike Whirling or Mike?
for Mike
Brown?
Whirling.
Okay.
He is an elected official, and elected officials don't have job descriptions.
Okay.
So would
So you
he
think,
indeed have to be appointed if he's an elected official, or is that a separate?
Yeah, let me think about that for a week.
okay, so we'll pull Mike off of there too. You guys okay with that?
He's not allowed to hold two lucrative positions. So that's why we.
If you remember, State Board of Accounts was here and told us how that had to happen, and council had to approve what they approved, and we did it all the way they said.
Yeah, and I've just,
Do it.
I just forget.
So you want to look
so-
at that again quick and see if we need to, so we'll look at that next week?
Yeah, let's look at that next week. Mark will let us know. I don't
okay
think
with that?
elected officials can have job descriptions necessarily.
Okay.
But if
Okay,
it's
so
a
you-
separate thing, then
So you think you have our list?
no.
You want to read them back?
Jackie Searles,
Mm-hmm.
Nate, Brad, and Paul. Mark Burry for Drainage Board Attorney.
Yes, and
And
it
county.
says county,
And
so I
county.
assume that means county commissioners since,
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's on one form.
Oh, gotcha. I see it. Adams County and Drainage. Got it. Mark Wynn,
mhm,
Mike Brown,
right.
Barb Lehrman.
Did you add Chauncey Cook as?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Soil and Water?
Chauncey Cook. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead now, Barb Lehrman.
Dan Hackman,
Mhm.
Rick Burkhalter.
Mhm.
And you said Shannon does stay?
Yes, we'll leave
Okay.
Shannon on there, I think.
Max Beer.
We stopped at
We stopped
Shannon.
there.
Oh, we
I think
stopped
we
there.
stopped there so we can make sure we've covered with all these
Okay.
individuals that they're willing to.
Is there any on this second page that you want to do now?
Let's do the 1 years first.
Okay.
We've got the list on the
Okay.
1 years.
Oh, just the 1 year
Okay.
first. Okay. So all the ones that I said, I've checked off.
Okay,
So if you make a motion to approve those,
I did,
so
I can
there's the
get those
list.
in the
Doug, you
minutes.
got the motion to approve that?
right?
All right.
All the 1 year, right?
1 year.
One year.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we can get all those,
Okay,
I've got the
so
forms,
those-
we'll sign them here at the end of the
So
meeting.
those all pass?
okay.
And then on the next sheet, so for the drainage board,
Do we want to wait and, again, these are all, the next sheet is probably all non-full-time county employees, correct?
correct.
Do we want to wait and can catch all those when we do the non-full-time one-year appointments?
Yeah,
Or
that's
you-
up, yeah, that's up to you guys.
I don't know, we could, is there any on there that
It
we
doesn't look
question?
like there's any, it doesn't look like there's anything there that we need to really approve. They're all, their terms in somewhere beyond.
I thought, Mike, would this be the time on the, Bill Wimhoff, JD Neidlinger, and Greg Leakey on Drainage Board?
I think
Would
those
this
do
be
have
the
to be
time
done.
to alternate the years of completion?
I've got it set up that way. I went back and looked. So actually Greg Leakey's term runs clear out until 2025.
So he don't need to be
We
approved.
don't have to do that one.
He's on. Okay,
And
what
then
about
we've got-
JD and,
Bill Wimoff is, January, 25 through December of 26.
okay, so
We
we're
need to
good
approve
there.
that. And then JD Neidlinger will be January 25 through December of 27.
So we're good. We don't have to appoint
Well,
any,
we'll need to approve the two that
all
I
the
just said.
changes.
Yeah, Bill will go January of 25 through December of 26. And JD will be January of 25 through December of 27.
Okay, that's good.
And
So if I have a motion for that, I've got the forms
Yeah.
for you to sign.
Steve, is it okay if we approve that one?
Yep.
Okay, I move that we approve the Drainage Board change on appointees.
Second.
Okay, that motion passes. You good there, Tony?
Yep, got those. And I think Mark has the appointment
I've got the
forms.
forms.
Okay, so do we want to go ahead and look at the rest of these? I mean, that's up
Well,
to
we
you
can do the
guys.
ones that we're confident that they'll accept.
Yep.
That's the question.
Yeah, if you
don't
wanna
have to be
wait-
con-
Yeah,
if you wanna
I hate to
wait on the
appoint someone
rest.
that hasn't been
Hasn't
said,
been-
hey, will you
hasn't
serve?
Been willing, yeah,
Yeah.
been reached out to.
I'll
Right.
make
I
sure
would hate
that-
for them to
yeah.
read their name in the paper.
Well,
and
they
think, I
might.
didn't- I
Yeah, If
didn't
we
wanna-
do it, they might.
I didn't want to do that.
And I can find out after the meeting whether Angie and or Brooke contacted.
Yeah.
We can cover this next meeting if that's,
Okay,
So I
let's
got
give
the
it the
ones-
chance to go over it, make sure we're right.
I've got the ones that are check marked as
Okay.
being approved.
good.
We couldn't do something like approved offering the appointment. Just to get it,
Do we have, I guess maybe the question is there anybody on that list that we do not want to reach out to? I don't know that we need an action on that. We just need to maybe have a discussion that there's nobody on there that we did not want to ask to renew their commitment.
okay.
I know I'm fine with everybody on that list.
Yeah, I'll make sure that they are reached out
Okay.
to the ones that.
Great, thank you.
Very good.
Tony, you'll get us a copy of these commissioners' appointments sent to you?
Yes,
Okay,
they'll be in the minutes and I'll send it out to you.
okay, thanks.
Well, we definitely appreciate the work of our appointed positions.
Those are so valuable to what we
From
do.
Mark to Brad and Paul to Nate. Appreciate having Nate here. He seems to earn his keep, so.
Mark, we didn't ask you, but I assume you were willing to do another round with us.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, no, thank you, gentlemen. It's
Yeah.
been, it's been an honor.
How many years, Mark? 25,
27.
27?
He started about the time I opened East Chicago then.
As I've told you before, when we get in trouble, there's nobody else I'd want sitting beside me trying to get me back out of it.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, that was back when Ed Coyle came on. If you, that was Ed Coyle, Doug and Harry Anderson.
No,
Remember?
I replaced Terry.
Oh, you replaced
It was
Harry.
Ed called myself, I think Steve found
Yeah,
out.
it was Ed and then Harry and Steve. And then, Harry Anderson passed and then Doug was
Doug got
appointed.
caucused in.
Good.
Yep.
Back in 98.
Very good. Anything else we need to handle right now, Mark, from your seat?
I've got some stuff we'll come back to.
Okay.
Later on the agenda.
Okay, ready to move on to Nate? Not used to waiting this long, are you? No. New chairman. So I don't know what happened. Loses control.
Sure, didn't even show up.
First day on the job and can't keep meeting on track.
That's all right. I'll keep you busy. No, first item, we just got Bridge 155. We did the bid opening at your last meeting in December. I am requesting your signatures on the agreement with Brumball Construction. You should have a copy in front of you of the bid tab of all the different bidders. Thanks to all of them who actually submitted. That's a lot of different contractors on a small bridge rehab here in Adams County. It's a testament to what we're doing as far as getting projects out and keeping good documents out. Obviously, Brumball was the apparent low and is the low bidder at $295,000 on that project, well below the engineer's estimates. But we do have a pretty good closure as far as the number of contractors in that low 300s as well. But this is one of our community crossings projects for the end of last year. We were able to get an award of it. So with your approval, I'll turn that in and we'll get our 75% for the state.
Where's Brumball? Where are they located?
I do have their cover letter. They're out of Arcanum, Ohio. So fairly large firm over in Ohio. I have not worked with them before, but in calling around, it sounds like they're going to be a good company for us to have. And since that's a southeast corner, it seems like this was in their territory. They were eager. They called quite a few times leading up to the bid to find locations and put a project application together. So
I move we accept Nate's recommendation for Brumball Construction on Bridge 155.
Second that.
Did you have that amount stated then, Nate?
yep, $295,000.
295,000.
Even.
You got the contract documents here, since you've approved, we'll sign those
Through
after the
signing those
meeting.
documents. Okay,
Yep.
that motion passes.
Yep, there's 2 copies there in addition to a Form 96, so we'll just be signed. So, next item is just updates on the next set of community crossings applications. That did open this month, and DOT's opened the applications for the 2025-01. The maximum available is $1,500,000. We are requesting that across 2 projects. One being Bridge 180, which is at the intersections of 825 South and 650 West. And then also an asphalt overlay and minor structural work on 300 North from US 27 to the West County line. So both of those projects have come before council and the commissioners before. I'll finalize the applications here hopefully today and turn both of those in. So we're well before the deadline. The deadline is January 31st.
So your application includes both of those?
Both projects, and they are separate. So there's the bridges first and then the road work. We've got those 2 together. The strategy being, we know that the state is committed to $1.5 million for the first call. With the new governor, there's no confirmation exactly what will happen with the second call. They may go back to $1 million. So we're gambling that this is going to be our best chance to secure that funds for this year. So, and we're comfortable with both of those projects that we put together.
No action necessary on it.
Yep, nope, just informational for you. And in addition to that, quarterly reports, we have 2 projects that have submitted the quarterly reports for the 4th quarter of last year. That's been turned into the state. That covers countywide bridge inspection and then Bridge 27. And then there is an update as far as the federal aid applications for fiscal year 2030. I've given you a schedule of when the interviews are. We've been selected for presentations. I have drafted those and turned those over to state. So we made it to the next level. And then after that, we'll have to wait until probably about mid-March, about spring break, is when the state does their announcement. So cross our fingers, we'll be able to get awarded on those other 2 projects that have been turned in. So other than that, that's kind of an update of what's going on. Hopefully everybody had a good Christmas and a Happy New Year, and Doug, welcome. And lastly, congratulations to my daughter and I's North Dakota State. They won their FCS championship last night. So
Wow.
if anybody was on ESPN, they did that. So I'll throw that plug in.
There you go.
Little spice of life for you. Any questions for me?
You've got that grant presentation coming up on the 22nd.
22nd, yep. It's all Hatfield at the Fort Wayne Sub-Districts.
Okay.
I'll be presenting, so there's no pressure for anybody else to present on it. If you as a commissioners would like to attend, you're absolutely welcome. It's always, they may throw some gotcha questions in that'll be like, well, what if we did this? What would you do? It's good to have the decision makers there. That way I'm not put in a position of speaking on your behalf. necessarily like to say, oh, the commissioners will definitely do this.
When do they make their final decision whether or not you're successful?
Yeah, well, what'll end up happening is they will set kind of like this, where there's a number of people from the Fort Wayne district, the district head will be there, and a number of project managers will be in the audience. And then I believe what they'll do is they rank the projects, and they'll scratch any ones that they feel don't meet muster, and then they will submit that to central office. Central office will then essentially go through the list and then dole out the money based on the rankings that are provided to them. So short of any major issues, we'll see how we rank, and hopefully being good stewards with the money that we had puts us in a good position for the next.
And I'm assuming that this is just kind of the Northeast Indiana district, is that right?
Correct, yep. So this will be the Fort Wayne sub-district or Fort Wayne district office. So it'll be everything from Michigan to Ohio. And we're on the kind of the south edge of that Fort Wayne district. So that's why you wouldn't see Jay County. That would be in the Greenfield district. That'd be east central would be kind of the color. And then we go out to Huntington and then north. That's kind of the territory. So you have a list of the times that are there and who we're essentially somewhat competing with. But I will try to be there a little bit early if you want to ride, obviously. That's up to you.
I'll try to make that.
Very good.
All right.
Good. Thanks, Nate.
Thank you.
Brad and Paul. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Welcome to winter.
Brand new year, we started off right. Got money.
Well, you escaped one already.
Yeah. That's what it is. Well, you know, it's always interesting too. It's one of them where you go out, you get geared up, you put V plows on, and we scared it away.
Good practice.
It doesn't bother me. Keep doing whatever you're doing. Yeah, there you go, exactly. So, and starting out the new year, we figured we're gonna go easy on you guys at the start here and just have a monthly draw. So our monthly draw, and this is for December, so last December. The MVH December draw was $303,009.18. $303,009.18. And to me, it's always kind of interesting to look back. They're really pretty consistent if you look at them.
Just for the people in the audience here,
Mhm.
could you just give a real brief synopsis of because your next thing you're going to talk about is local road and street. What's the difference between basically the MVH funding and the local road and street funding that we get each month? And maybe that's a question that you need a little homework on. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the MVH, it's all from fuel tax, okay? That's how we're funded. The majority of our funding is from fuel tax. And the MVH, what they did, and I believe it was back in 2017, they split them up into two separate categories, MVH and MVH restricted. So the restricted side of that can only be used on the roads. Anything on the roads, that's all it can be used for. The MVH side then is used for all the other stuff that goes along with that, wages and fuel and all that. So and the difference from the local road and street, I'll be honest, I don't know. I'll have to do a little research because
It's not near as much.
it's not near as much. And there is a formula that NDOT has to break it all down and divide it with all the counties, cities, and towns. Because we all,
Is the wheel tax in with the local road and street?
no, wheel tax is a totally separate thing. Both of these come from the state, our state funding. So if you, and I will do some research and get you more of a
Yeah.
specific
It's
answer.
it's a
but
complicated thing. When I go to these commissioner conferences and sit in on road funding, I'll tell you what, you go out more confused than what you went in.
Yeah, because it's there's so many cents on a gallon of fuel, and then it's a percentage goes here, percentage goes there. It is very complicated, and I've studied it many times and still don't really understand it. So on the local road and street side, for the month of December, it was $51,109.53. $51,109.53.
I move we accept Brad's report on both the MVH and local road and street.
Second that.
Thanks, guys. Motion carries. So, just real quick, yes, we started off January with a bang. Last Friday, our crews were out. We went out and we salted. You know what, we had, maybe an inch of snow, so we went and salted. We salted intersections, bridges, and curves, hills, that kind of thing. Yesterday, guys went out. It was a late arriving snow, and I was up early, nothing. Slept another hour, got up, and it just started. And I was out the door in another hour, and we had an inch and a half.
That's what we had.
Yeah, well, I mean, an inch and a half, 2
Didn't even
inches.
seem that much, actually.
Yeah. So anyhow, the guys were out all day yesterday with the winds we had and that. The winds settled down at least last night. We went back out again this morning to clean up. So the guys are out again today, and maybe we'll get a little break tomorrow. We can start cleaning stuff.
Do you feel like you have, we don't know what lies ahead in the
Yeah.
rest of January, February, March, but do you feel like you have ample amount of salt, even if with the worst case scenarios, so to speak?
Yeah, so basically how our salt program works is we go through the state's salt program where you try and figure out what you're going to need for that year, tonnage. And then they will lock in one of the salt dealers at a price, knowing you need this many tons. So how that goes is if we have a really bad winter and we're out salting a lot, we have to take a certain amount of the salt order. Well, if we go over that, we're allowed to go over it. I can't remember, Paul, you remember, was it 20%?
Yeah, we have to take at least 80% of our order.
But if we go
But
over,
you can go over at least 20.
we can get an extra 20%. But like last year, we didn't salt much. We still had to take 80% of what we ordered for the year. So we were scrambling the end of winter, beginning of spring to find a place to put it. We got it all put in our salt barn. Yeah, so it's kind of you look back through the years, see what you used roughly, and that's how much we ordered. Knowing you never know.
Right.
Yes, and I'll be honest too, even if we run low, we have enough connections with other counties, cities, and some of the big counties order thousands of tons a year. We have a good relationship. We could always go get some from somebody.
Now, I kind of lost track. Are we using mostly V-blades or side throwers if you do have substantial snow?
And substantial snow, we still have V-blades. Typically though, anything even up to 6-8 inches, we can use the belly blades, side
Okay,
throwers.
You have the front sides like the state highway does, or you just have a few of those, or I forget.
So to catch you up, we have those. And I don't want to put nobody down from before,
Right,
but the style that they got was not made for county roads.
okay,
So we don't use them.
The
okay.
style of V-blades?
No, the straight blades that we've been trying to
Oh, I
sell.
see.
Yeah.
So
They weren't
yeah.
the right ones for county roads.
Well, might as well get rid of them.
We've been trying. We've been trying. We've talked with these guys and, tried. We had them out at the Golden Meadows auction.
Okay,
And we actually talked to scrap metal dealer and he gave us a price on what we get out of them. Well, the auction prices,
yeah,
we hate to just scrap.
yeah, I know. Well, you never know.
And we've talked to other counties, hey, would you guys want to buy these? And they're not the right setup for them either.
All right.
So yeah, we have V-blades and underbodies.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, just my hat's off to this county highway department and your drivers, because when you get a heavy snow and you get one of these drivers out in the V-blade for 8 hours, that's tough.
Yeah.
On visibility, on safety, on people that's out there that don't care, they're in your road. So my hat's off to your drivers on this thing, I'm telling
Thank
you,
you.
and the leadership you guys exhibit.
And there again, the invitation always extends for all of you. If you
A ride?
ever want a ride, let us know. Now, it'd be better if you wait till we got 6-8 inches.
I rode
That'd be more
last year.
exciting.
It was
Yeah, Stan rode with
interesting.
Jeff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I might take you up on that.
yeah, so seriously, let us know. Let us know and we'll get you on track.
The other thing is, I appreciate you working together with school superintendents because I know they've got a tough decision, because when we met with Joe McCaffrey, you know, and he said his decision is based on having a whole bunch of teenage drivers coming out on the roads, and the average age of his bus drivers was 68 years old. So that's who he's putting out on the roads or not putting out on the roads.
Yep.
So those are tough decisions for him, so the better shape that we can keep the roads and keep them early, I think it's just an important relationship.
Yep.
So,
And I'm gonna go ahead, while if you don't mind, I got a little
Yep, go ahead.
picture, my safety. People, please, I'm stressing that any drivers out there, pay attention to the road conditions. You know, you always hear, get up early if you need to, leave early, drive to the road conditions. Just because the plow's been out doesn't mean the road conditions are allowing you to drive 55. And that goes for all entities, not just us. I mean, you just gotta pay attention.
Now, one other thing I need caught up on.
Mhm.
In the event of a severe storm coming up at 5 o'clock tonight,
Yep.
or Saturday or Sunday,
Mhm.
what policies are you using with the fire stations? Has it changed any?
No, so basically it's the same thing. We'll get, EMA will get hold of us, and we still have the same policy. We will put a truck, if it's gonna be bad enough that night, we'll put a truck in the 5 fire stations in the county, and we'll man that truck. And then if there's a run, the trucks will go out and lead them to wherever they need to get to. So it's the same policy.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks,
Anything
Eric.
else, guys? Good. Okay, I don't see Rick out here. There he is, back in the, hiding behind Clayton.
Big boy.
incognito.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Rick.
I just want to update you on a couple things that transpired over the holidays. One was we had a bearing go out of a shaft, air handler. It was down in Mike's area. I came in, myself and a guy from Judd Myers, Don Myers Plumbing, he came in New Year's Eve and fixed that. It's a little bit of a challenge, but we got it all. Yep. Over at the courthouse, a heat pump went out. And I was in communication with Stan on this. So we had to order, a compressor went out. So we ordered it, it had to come from Georgia. It came in New Year's Eve. I'm losing track of my days. New Year's Eve too, at 6 p.m. Actually went down there and waited so I wouldn't miss, so we could get it because they were off. Anyway, we did that on Thursday last week. It was a long day. Stan, I think I texted you.
Yeah, you did, because Judd made the comment to you that he was gonna stay until it was
So
repaired.
I went back up there after that funeral.
Yeah,
Anyway, we had a hard time getting the, recapturing the Freon because it was so cold. So we put a block heater on that, so forth, but we got it. It was probably about 9 o'clock-ish. I was just talking with somebody, and I checked it this morning, so it's working.
so you had a wonderful New Year's Eve.
Yeah. It is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah.
So that's working. At least for the time being, it should. You know, I don't know what the cost that'll be at that point. I mean, they virtually have no heat.
Yeah.
I thought about getting a new one. But the problem is the control panel wouldn't ran it because that's why. Are there other units over there that are of the same vintage that we need to think about from a forward-looking standpoint replacing? And what I've done, Steve, for the future is I'm budgeting for like the next 5 years to maybe replace the system. Yeah, let's get that out of there. So
That's what that is.
Good.
Yes, those are the two big things. Back in the last 2 weeks.
Questions for Rick, guys?
Yeah, he's always done a good job that I'm aware
I
of.
know.
I really appreciate him.
Well, and I think that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is the 24/7 part of the job.
Yeah.
You know, and coming in like on New Year's Eve to solve those problems, you know, that was big. That was big. So thank you for doing that.
It sounds like Mike is a vote of,
I want to thank Rick for fixing the air handler because we went almost 2 weeks since some mornings was 50 degrees. In that.
Keep you awake anyhow.
There was no sleeping.
Wow.
Wow.
That was another thing. It just, everything had to land through those holidays. We were
Yeah.
shut down to,
That's the way it works.
and had to order bearing.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know I've always had a good feeling about Rick and he's in control of buildings maintenance. I've always felt real good.
We just don't want to forget to appreciate that too.
In case, I talked to Tim Myers, they're having a wrestling match here at the
Yes,
16th.
yes.
He called me before I came here. And I'll get with IT, but they want to know about Wi-Fi. So, I mean, I think we can accommodate that, but if anything's said to you, I'm looking in, just so they have it. We do have public Wi-Fi.
And I heard you approved that at the last meeting.
Yeah.
Is parking going to be an issue?
Well, they've been here before.
Okay.
I mean, they kind of know what it
Decatur High
is.
School used to function.
I hear you, but
I think what
I
we
know.
did is,
wrestling's a pretty
I
good, a
know.
pretty big draw.
I know, and it's the old gym.
as far as the building, kind of.
Do the wrestling, offhand?
Consensus was staying.
Yorktown, I think you said,
Yorktown,
yeah.
they're usually pretty
Pretty
good.
good,
Consensus
yeah.
was treat it like you were having it out there.
Yeah,
Yep.
good.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's neat. I think it's
Bring
neat that
back-
we can accommodate that and obviously.
Well,
it'll
as we were
inconvenience-
talking about the decision, you know, it offers some logistical problems as far as which doors are locked, when they're locked, when they're unlocked. How do we control people to keep them out of the office space? in
And I
this
knew they had to
building?
have some resting access that maybe
Yeah,
not
so they're gonna
necessarily
bring
always
in
there,
ex-
so.
They're gonna bring in extra people, right?
Yes.
Saw that.
Yeah.
They're supposed to, I think they are gonna have a police officer here too. Basically to fill you in a little bit what kind of was. They're gonna use these restrooms down here for the women. The one downstairs on the first floor, I mean, no one will have access up. That'll be the men's down here on the first. That where Colton is. They are,
And all of our offices are individually locked. It's
Yeah.
not like we have to control that. It's just hallway access.
Yeah.
But I understand the concern, but I appreciate us being flexible enough to be able to accommodate that. That was a good decision.
one thing I'll have to do is turn off the alarm system on the double doors.
Yeah,
Well,
good. Well, I appreciate you being willing to work with them on that. Neat effort. Thanks.
thanks, Rick.
All right.
Hey, Ed, what have you got for us?
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Doug, it's good to see you up
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
sir.
thank you.
I have 2 items for you today. It's the end of the month, end of the year, end of the month, and Tony has already emailed you my end of the month reports.
Actually, I left it in front of them.
Yeah. got it.
Everything's on there. There's a lot of information, a lot of numbers. The bottom line is everything balances.
That's pretty important.
So, yeah. So if you have any specific questions, I can answer it. Otherwise, I need your approval.
I move we approve Ed's monthly treasurer's report.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to accept Ed's report. Passes.
Thank you. The other thing I want to remind you, next week is our mandatory Board of Finance meeting. And it is at 8 a.m. sharp. We only have 30 minutes to get this done. My 4 years prior to this, it's been pretty much the entire hour. So we're really going to have to hustle. I have a folder here of information for all of you, and this will be the stuff that we go through.
Because that only gives us a half hour.
That gives us a half hour. It's gonna be tough.
Sorry, council, that's
It's-
right, second Tuesday.
It's going to be tough to get through all that. But this is all the stuff we're gonna be going through. So I would encourage you to take the week and look through it at your leisure. Please don't mess up the pages, because that's the order we're gonna be going. And we'll do our best to get through it. That's all I can say. We'll get her done.
Yeah.
But with that, that's all I have, unless you have any specific questions.
And does the promissory note need to be? You already got that? Okay, good. Cool.
Any other questions for Ed?
Okay.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed.
Thank you very much.
Finance, okay.
Okay, Mark, you're back up. All right, right on cue.
Tony had a report to be approved. This is the sheriff's commissary report, and just needs to be approved.
Yeah, this happens every year. Dan submits this. It's required that the council and the commissioners approve accepting this. I have emailed this to all of you.
Yeah.
I wish I could say I read every last page.
Oh, my
but-
gosh,
That's a
I pity the poor person that's put that together.
hefty report.
At the jail.
Yeah, that's commissary jail,
Yeah.
jail and commissary report.
Yeah.
So we just need a motion to accept
Yeah,
that
I-
report
Go ahead,
for the
Sam.
sheriff.
I'd make a motion to accept that report as presented.
Second.
Okay, so that passes.
All right, next item is the interlocal cooperation agreement for animal care and control services between the county and the city of Bern. And we've updated the contract with the city of Bern for 2025. The city, the amount is the same this year as it was last year, $6,900 that they pay the county for access to the animal shelter and the animal control officer. And that's for 2025. That's been already approved by the city of Bern. Just need the commissioners to also approve this as well.
So moved.
Second.
Okay,
so
I'll send that
passes.
down. It's signatures on the back of the first page there. We prepared similar agreements with Finger and Monroe and Geneva to send out.
What about Monroe?
Yeah, Geneva, Monroe, and Decatur. What's our next ordinance number?
Hold on, let me look it up.
Probably.
Well, it should be number 1.
Should be.
Well, it almost have to be.
We know that, don't we?
There's been no other meeting. 2025-1.
2025-1. So this is we've got a certification of recommendation on proposal to change the zone map. So it was a proposed rezoning that was heard by the Plan Commission on December 19 of 24 after public hearing. The Advisory Plan Commission gave due consideration to a petition to change the zone map filed by Pickway Estates LLC, which is located at 7400 North Monmouth Road, Decatur, which is at the corner of Pickway and Monmouth Road, requesting the zoning for there's a 9.058 acre parcel that's been surveyed to be rezoned from A agricultural to R3 mobile home park, located in section 27 of Root Township. As shown on the attached maps, the Plan Commission heard that petition and held a hearing and recommends a do pass recommendation upon a vote of 6-0. This is an existing mobile home park. It's been there for decades. It's also a licensed mobile home park with the state of Indiana. This became a mobile home park before there was zoning in Adams County for mobile home parks. So anyway, the property changed hands. There was an estate. And so the purchaser of the property is just going through the steps to get it rezoned so that it's actually zoned for how it's been used. And
So
is
they're not expanding it at all. It's
Not a-
just the current footprint.
just the
of
current footprint. Now, they may come back and want to expand, but if they do, then they'll
petition to rezone other area, but anyway, that's the recommendation. So I've got the ordinance for that, which is 2025-1, which is ordinance the Board of Commissioners, which rezones the property located at 7400 North Monmouth Road, as described on the attached exhibit, from A agricultural to R3 mobile home park. And so I need a vote on that to approve that ordinance, and then this rezone will be effective.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Approved.
All right.
That was a BCA vote, right? Nothing to be.
It's the
Plan
advisory, yeah, Plan Commission. Plan Commission approves rezonings. All right, so I'll send this down for signature. And then Tony, you know what to do with it after that. Yep. There's the certification. That's the ordinance. That's the ordinance first one. Then we've got a contract to sign here for Nate, which you've already approved, so we'll get your signatures on that. And I've got the appointment forms here for those that you have approved, so we can sign those after the meeting as well. There were a couple other questions that we had on some things, but I think we've got those things resolved. So, do you have anything else, Clayton? We do have the ordinance for the buggy plate license fees, or the horse-drawn vehicle licensing fee. That ordinance was a 2024 ordinance. It was introduced. We had the public meeting on that, I believe, on December 19th down in Monroe or in Bern. Had not a huge turnout, quite honestly.
Some of the bishops were there though.
Yep, and Doug, you were there. So what's the next step on that is, if the commissioners want to get that adopted, then we'll set it for a public hearing because it's increasing the fees. So it's a 10-day notice. I'll publish that. We'll set it for a public hearing at one of your commissioners' meetings, probably 2 meetings from now. And then if you decide you want to, following that public hearing, if you want to adopt that ordinance, it's already been introduced, then you adopt that ordinance. And then we'll publish it. And
Doug, are you familiar with that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just make sure I understand totally. There's nothing about the rubber on the wheels, right? No. That's a good thing. Good thing.
nope.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
So if I got to go ahead, I'll publish notice, and then we'll adopt it probably 2 meetings from now after
So
public
you need
hearing.
action on that to
I
move
just
forward?
just
Okay.
permission to go ahead and advertise it.
That motion stand, I see a head shaking down
Yeah,
there.
that's a motion.
Okay.
And back to the public
I'll
meeting,
second
we had, Brad and Paul came down and Nate was there and Mark and Clayton were there. And so I just really appreciated, the presentation. And I think we did have good discussion and good response. And there wasn't a lot of people, but good discussion though, so.
Yep. We had, there definitely were representatives of the Amish community there that, were there for that reason. Yeah, so all right, we'll get it published now. Clayton, I'll talk to you and we'll get a notice published for that. In fact, I think I already have it drafted anyway.
Yeah.
You have that ordinance number by any chance? 24 dash. And I can look it up later if you don't. Yeah, I don't know what the number is. I'll have to put it on it before you adopt it, but we'll publish it that way.
Now, when we do a public hearing, will it be here or how do you do it?
Don't be here. I'd recommend just doing it here.
Sure. Just as part of our meeting, we'll adjourn into a public hearing and then reconvene to take action.
If we do it in Vern, we'll have to figure out how to use our projector.
But other than that, I think that's all I got.
Good.
Do you have anything else, Clayton?
Shannon, do you have anything for us?
Uh-oh, we're getting double teamed.
You guys will get tired of staring at me.
So Jackie in the surveyor's office is retiring at the end of April. So historically, what we've done is we have come to you guys and we've asked for approval, and then we're going to go to council next week, assuming you're okay with it, to have a training period for the outgoing employee when it's a planned retirement. So that's what we're here to ask today, for official approval for that and what your thoughts are on that training period, because I'd like to go ahead and start the recruiting process so we can kind of be ready when the time comes of when we're ready to make an offer to someone.
What would be typical?
Well, talking to the office, we think 8 weeks would be right because it's a very critical job and there is no other training, no other cross training in the county for that. I know 8 weeks is a big lift, big ask, but she is willing to come back as a contract later on, especially in the fall when it rolls over the drainage again into the system, which is the other critical time of the year. Tax time, before tax bills go out, and then in the fall when it rolls.
I have no problem with having her come back as needed. If it's 8 weeks, fine. Do we have to put a cap on it, or are we just going to as needed?
You're talking about the overlap during which Jackie would be full-time employee and the new person be full-time employee, right?
Okay,
So we're talking about overlap of having two
Yeah.
employees in the same job, basically.
Yeah. Well, for years and years and years, surveyor's office had 2 secretaries
Two, yeah.
for years. So
So
I have no problem with your training.
technically Jackie still is 2 employees,
Right.
2 job descriptions she
Right.
has. There are times that it'd be nice to have another one. Sometimes, when one of us or both of us have to be out of the office, but it works out.
My first impression, 8 weeks sounds like a long time to overlap. And Tony's replaced several employees over the last several years. Have we ever given that option as far as an 8-week overlap?
No, not 8 weeks.
So even with Bree or Lynn or,
Put
yeah,
a, as needed. It might be 3 weeks, it might be 4.
I think an important aspect of this, though, is that that's a one-person office there. It's not like you can offload any of that work onto anybody else in the interim period or whatever. Once Jackie leaves, this person's going to be on their own.
Yeah.
It's big.
I think that makes a difference when you've got an office of a staff of 4 or 5 or 6, and you can begin to cross-train a little bit. There's not a cross-training opportunity there.
Right.
And the job she does is really critical for everything, for taxes, for the maintenance, the whole work stuff. It's
yeah.
I have no problem, 8 weeks, and if it don't take 8 weeks and you feel comfortable, cut it. If for some reason, there's a person that needs a little bit more, like I said, we've had 2 in there for years.
Might depend a little bit on who you hire too. If
Yeah.
you find
Right.
you might not need the full 8. I would say up to 8, I'm okay with.
The other thing is if we're looking at an 8-week overlap, that kind of sets a precedent for other offices too. I mean, had this happened, like say before Bree left,
To
that
me,
would
I
have been a
think, I
precedent.
think an important difference there is that Bree had other people in the office she could begin to cross-train. They could begin to offload some of that. There's not that opportunity in Mike's office. I think that's an important distinction between a one-person office and a multi-person office. I think that's an
What
important
if we were
distinction.
to do something, say, up to 8 weeks, but if, like Doug says, if you bring somebody in that's got some experience in that.
Yeah, if somebody is hired or moves over from another job in the county that has experience with payroll, with the funds, it's gonna be a big help a lot less time.
There's people who are quick learners, there's people that's not so quick learners. So it's a variable there. You don't know.
Shannon, is this your recommendation too? Is 8 weeks, you think?
I think that 8 weeks is a little bit of a stretch. I kind of agree with Stan. I agree on all fronts that, yes, it is a one-person office. Yes, this is a planned retirement, so we have plenty of notice, but I struggle a little bit with 8 weeks because I think that this is going to set a precedent for how long we have that overlap period. But I also understand Mike's concern about having that knowledge passed on and that training opportunity there for the incoming person to set them up for success. So
I think it is helpful that Jackie's willing to continue to share her knowledge even after she's gone in some form or fashion, whether that's come back in or phone call or
I hate to
whatever.
I hate to put a time period on this because, you know, Mike, you're gonna have to call a shot on that.
It depends on the person.
Right.
Is,
So
we don't know
who
that.
knows, you know,
But-
when Mike feels comfortable.
But Jackie's gonna have a fixed date on the calendar she's gonna be gone by. So she won't be able to leave prior to that. And if we hire
really?
somebody,
She can't leave.
well, I would assume not, or she won't be, get her full retirement.
With the person and
Oh, no, wait a minute. Now, if we give up to 8 weeks, you mean she's gonna stay for 8 weeks regardless?
So she has to be here until the end of
Well,
April,
She has an end date.
correct?
What we're talking about is the permissible time we can start the new employee.
Oh,
We're
okay.
talking about 8 weeks prior to that date, or what would be more typical would
There
be a
you go.
2-week
Okay.
overlap.
I got
Or
it.
Did you
2 weeks
say-
prior to
Did you
that.
say she's willing to come back just to consult?
yes, she says, but it's not gonna be, she's going vacation. So through the summer, so I'm not sure
I
exactly.
would
She
be
won't be
more-
able to come back until. a
More
certain time.
comfortable, like say with a 4-week overlap with up to 4 weeks consulting, using her as a consultant.
Interesting.
Well, they need to get the person hired. Way I understand is you need to get the person hired by the end of March.
Yeah, that's what we're looking at if we do.
And that's what we're asking permission for.
They're
is
asking
how-
for a start
how
date.
soon can we hire somebody
Yeah.
to overlap with Jackie?
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
her drop dead date is the end of April, period.
There's a precedent really for somebody coming back to help because Lynn came back to help in our office when we had issues under a temporary contract.
Shannon, do you have experience, do we have a precedent of somebody using what I would consider to be more than the standard 2-week overlap? Is there another precedent we could look at?
No, I would say the only one honestly was probably Brad when he started, but again, that was a completely different scenario because he's a department head, he oversees 22 people, and I think, Brad, what was yours, 8 weeks too? Didn't you have 2 or 3 months to train?
It was supposed to be.
Whatever it wasn't enough.
COVID hit. Seriously, COVID hit. We were supposed to have, I think it was months. And COVID hit 2 weeks in and we were off.
Okay. So that would be, I think, one of the longer ones.
Stan, you're more comfortable with 4?
Yeah, I would be more comfortable, and I don't disagree with all the technical knowledge that has to be passed on. I'm just afraid of the precedent of an 8-week overlap.
But if you give
So-
4, okay, if we go 4 and she comes up for retirement at the end of April, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and so if you hire the new person by April 1st or so, and you get to April 30th when Jackie's ready to leave, and you don't feel comfortable, we got an issue. So we don't know. Hopefully,
Yeah,
It's the person that is hired.
huh?
The person that is hired is the
Right,
wild card.
Well, and I think it puts the pressure on finding the right person.
Right.
So,
and I think if we set a time period here, you're gonna have to let the new employee know, basically, maybe you gotta put a little pressure on, but you got 4 weeks to learn this job.
Yeah.
Do you have to get an additional appropriation though for?
You're gonna have to go to council,
I think it'll be later in the year though, because from my understanding, they typically like to do it when the line is low, not preemptively, just in case things change, is my understanding.
Yeah, like just in case the total amount of time isn't needed for whatever reason, there'd be no reason to do the additional until you know you need it.
We already have a typical 2-week in there, I believe we put in the
I don't have.
budget. So 2 weeks, I think, is in the budget right now.
So do we have a motion?
4 weeks and 4 weeks consulting, is that what you're thinking?
I'll go for the 4 weeks of training.
Yeah,
Consulting's up in the air, isn't it?
I would be much more comfortable with the 4-week.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay. Ask for 8, you get 4. Should ask for 12.
We're good. It's all good.
How much overlap training did you have when you came in as treasurer?
Job description and everything is.
Mine was a little bit different of a situation just because I worked part-time as, I was the third person
Yeah.
in the office.
Yeah, that's right. Anyways,
Well, if she wants to come up to it, not.
I have started helping with payroll and so forth, and that is quite a learning curve in the system.
But you have a lot of people in the in this building that are running that same payroll system.
Yeah.
So she could get a lot of help
That's-
there from
that's the
somebody
easy
other
part.
than Jackie.
Yeah.
But there are some things that are unique to Jackie's
The maintenance
position.
funds
Yeah.
and all that,
And-
there's
and-
124 systems that are
And
divided
she's
out.
gonna have to learn that over the first couple of years. That's
Yeah,
not,
it's
another
gonna
4
come.
weeks is not gonna help her understand all the stuff that we deal with.
It'll give her an overall view
Yeah.
of it.
Ed's got a question.
Mike, I know that over the years, Kathy has helped Jackie quite a bit with the different things with the drainage and how to allocate this and that and everything else. So I'm sure that she would offer her help.
We've actually talked to Kathy, right, and asked that question, so.
Now, that's creeping up on tax time, but, as it comes up, I'm sure she'll help where she can.
I'm sure there's a lot of help in the building.
There's a hectic time of the year, you can probably say.
Jackie's not even just going on vacation, she's going over to Europe on vacation.
Europe, yeah, Italy.
Yeah.
What else have you got for us, Shannon?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to ask about your intentions for renewing the BLR training program that we have in place. So they've been hitting me up over the last couple of weeks because we're coming up to that in April. So as you may not know,
Yeah.
we implemented an online training program last year that I have the ability to go in and assign training modules to various groups or all employees or whatever the case may be. Our primary goal with it was sexual harassment training, which all employees have. They complete as they start, as they're hired, but all existing employees have completed it. We signed a 1-year contract with BLR for that service. I think it was about $7,300 a year. So they've just been asking me if we intend to renew the service so we can continue that program, or if you want to move to something else, or if you want to.
Do you have a report on usage by employees?
So the only thing that we have assigned this year to everybody has been the sexual harassment training. I did have some interest in financial literacy training from one of the department heads, which that's another thing I've kind of been working on this side. So I haven't used it officially in that capacity for financial literacy, but we have used it for sexual harassment for everybody.
How long, if a new employee and they go through that training period for how long is the module or whatever?
I believe the module is 35 minutes and there's a quiz at the end of it, and they have 30 days to do it once I assign it to them.
What's your perspective of how we could, it doesn't feel to me like if sexual harassment is all we end up using it for, that we're getting our money's worth. What's your thought on being able to lever that into more and better training for the team?
So I think that the platform itself is good. I think that it could be leveraged better in a way that is more efficient. So they do have options within that platform to create our own trainings, which I think we could use in the future for like IT needs, safety needs, all kinds of stuff. It's just getting us to that point where we're able to do that. But from the perspective of sexual harassment, I believe that $7,300 a year is 100% worth kind of a CYA on sexual harassment for all of our employees, because that covers everybody. You guys, it covers Mark, it covers everybody in the whole county. So for that one specifically, because of what that is.
I look at those systems as two-part. One is delivering the training, the other is tracking and basically affirming that everybody did the training and took the quiz. So there's both the management part and the delivery, the training material part.
Right.
Well, it kind of protects us as an employer by offering that. doesn't it?
Absolutely, by requiring that, yeah.
And we're not up for renewal yet. I mean, you have a couple weeks to think about it. I just wanted to bring it to you so you could think about it. And then in a couple weeks yet, once we're getting closer.
Do we have an opportunity to use Sarah? Help? Is that something that she could lever in her job also?
Probably, I can talk to Mike about utilizing her for that.
Would you
function.
do that maybe
Sarah.
before she's the training coordinator?
She's with the
for
IT department.
That's a new position, relative, maybe year-old-ish. I would say to collaborate with her a little bit and let's help us understand maybe how she might be able to use that too.
Okay. So over the break where you guys didn't have a meeting, I had an employee who was on FMLA and ran out of paid time off. So I went ahead and preemptively offered her the 5-year pay that we have in the manual because she was eligible for it. So I'm asking for permission after the fact, but because you guys weren't here, I just went ahead and did it.
Sure.
I'd make a motion to approve that. Was it the full 2 weeks that they used?
No, she only ended up using, I believe, like 28 hours. It wasn't, she
Yeah.
was able to come back.
And my whole issue with that has always been tracking it accurately.
Right.
And as long as we can do that.
We do. Now that we have timekeeping, we do. So I've explained this before, but for Doug, there's a specific code associated with that pay. I'm the only one that can enter it, and then I have a separate spreadsheet that I use to track it as well. So every couple of months, I'll go through and I'll just look at the totals and compare it to my spreadsheet and make sure they match.
So are you making a motion that we approve the 7,300 or the FMI?
No, the 7,300, I'm not, well,
The 5-year pay.
I did, Shannon says we have time to think about the 7,300. We're talking about the 5-year pay now. We've kind of moved on from that.
yeah, so my motion would be to approve, the 5-year pay for this employee that's used all their FM.
Doug, are you familiar with the whole 5-year deal?
Well, not totally.
Shannon, would you mind reviewing that for
So
all of
we
us?
have a policy that says that when an employee is on medical leave or unavailable to work, and they have exhausted all of their paid time off, that once every 5 years, we will pay them up to 80 full hours of their regular rate of pay to try to bridge the gap between being on medical leave and unable to work and getting a paycheck. So this employee was required to use all of her PTO that she had available before that 5-year pay kicked in. And then that 5-year pay kicked in for about 2.5, 3 days, and then she was able to return to work. So I just come to you guys and ask for permission. I don't give the employee's information or name in the meeting, just to
Right,
protect
right.
them.
Okay, go over to, I lost you a little bit on 5-year pay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's just what I call it. It's a policy that we have that says that once every 5 years, if needed, an employee can take up to 80 hours of their regular rate of pay when they're on medical leave after they have exhausted all of their paid time off.
But they can
available.
only do it once every 5 years.
Correct.
So how long have we had that in place? Or just,
It's been a while.
It's been a long
That was
time.
before Shannon came.
Yeah, it was in the handbook that was dated 2018 when I started in 2021, and I don't know when it was implemented originally, but it's been a long time.
yeah, well, it'd be interesting to track that a little bit to see if
See
there's
how
an
it's used.
employee that has been here 15 years and used it every 5 years 3 times.
So-
But there are very specific circumstances when they're allowed to use.
Shannon has to bring those to us, and you don't do this, but
Once a year?
yeah, once or twice a year do we
Yeah.
see it, Doug. It's not.
All right, it's no
not
big deal.
used
I
very
mean,
often.
what are we, what, I forget where you are.
We're approving this.
You're approving the,
this
the,
use. This
that
single
system.
use of that.
Stan, you made the motion, right? I'll second.
Okay. Motion
You know,
carries.
those previous commissioners, you never know what they were doing.
Yeah,
Motion was to approve this 5-year pay.
we watched it pretty close.
I,
So the last thing that I have is that Brenda Johns, who was our director at Golden Meadows, she's now the executive director at N5 in healthcare in Bern. So she reached out to me
Didn't know
about, yes, very good for her. She reached out to me about the remaining washer and dryer that is at Golden Meadows that was not sold and is still in the facility. And I believe that her facility would be interested in purchasing that from us if that was something that you guys would be interested in, or if we have the ability to do that.
What ramifications do we have to abide by in that request?
That would have already been listed on some of the ordinances and stuff that were passed, right, Clayton? I think you will.
I guess
you
the
read those
thing,
up?
that helps me with this whole decision is it went through a public auction
Yeah.
and got no bid. So at the public auction, it was effectively valued at
So
zero.
that'd
I
be
have
de
no problem
minimis.
So
That
I
would be
have
a
no
de
problem with
minimis
it either.
purchase, right?
Problem. I mean, if we can get what, if we say no problem and come and get it, are we okay, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Okay.
you got no bid
Well,
on it.
I mean,
didn't we give another washer and dryer to somebody or something?
With Jay County, we did something with Jay
The whole thing
County.
was, it's as is, it's like,
Right.
we have no.
Yeah, I think there is a release we had them sign.
okay. I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
I mean, does that need to be made in the form of a motion or?
I don't know.
I would say, just put it in the record that they can have it, because you've,
I'd
at
make
the
a
public
motion
auction,
to
received no
approve,
bid.
to offer and buy the the washer and
Washer and
dryer
dryer.
that's remaining at Golden Meadows.
No cost, second.
At no cost, yeah.
Okay, so that passes.
That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.
Avoids you having to take it to the landfill.
Yeah, saves us the work of getting it out of there or burying it. I don't know what's what happens to it.
Somebody can use it. That's a good thing.
Any, I don't see, Shelley was here for a few minutes, but she's gone. So whatever she had, hopefully she resolved it and moved on. Anything else from board?
I think.
That's anything you want to deal with. No, that's correct. I should have given it to you before.
We just, annually, we get a reimbursement from the hospital for, the refinancing of their bonds. And I guess it is important that we at least make a public mention of it, that annually.
I think it's a great.
Yeah, annually, the hospital cuts us a check back for the amount of money that they saved when they refinanced those bonds. Mark, correct me if I misstate this. But, so they refinanced the bonds, got a lower interest rate, saved them money. They in turn rebate that money back to us. So this is a check back to us, back to the government for $150,000, and then we reallocate that
We've already sent that out to the other entities.
to the other seated entities, which would be Bern, Geneva, Decatur, Monroe gets a part of that, but that $150,000 is coming from the hospital back to us since we allowed them to refinance those bonds. I remember voting to allow that refinancing. So thanks, Stan. That's just an email noting that check was delivered. So appreciate that from them. Appreciate them being fair with us.
It's something
And-
they would not have had to do.
Something they wouldn't have had to do. So I appreciate that. Anything else from you guys?
I don't have anything else. I mean, we're continuing to work on, the judicial facilities and we're trying to put a small committee together to look at, the financing with council and us and hopefully Mark and Clayton will continue to help with that part of it. And then, we'll continue to look at the project itself. So. Very good.
Welcome Doug to the commissioners from my perspective. I know he'll, between the experience that Doug has and the experience that Stan has, I know that they'll keep me on the straight and narrow here. So thanks to both you guys for the help that you've given me already. I'm still a rookie at this. I know I am. Anything from the public? Seeing nothing, I'd take a motion to adjourn if you guys are ready.
So moved.
Second.
Stan, we're adjourned.